50% literacy in India versus 96% in China and 92% in Sri Lanka. A decade since the Right to Education Act was passed, almost every child is now enrolled in a school. Yet, only 25% can read even simple text.
It's time to turn the leaf over. The recently released National Education Policy draft acknowledges this and proposes sweeping changes to increase the access to education. It also proposes measures to move beyond mere directed teaching. August 2019 will see a decade since the Right to Education Act was implemented in India.
This week on the show, we look at the infrastructure and social hurdles in providing education to all. While surveys show enrollment in government schools is as high as 97%, absenteeism is high too, at 40% in the worst performing states. The big question we are asking is, what's keeping children out of schools? We'll also reflect on how effective measures like midday meals, digital classrooms, and residential schools have proven to be to keep children in schools. These children are returning home from school on a blazing afternoon in Temburli village in Maharashtra's Thane district. Temburli is one of the villages located near Shahapur where most children depend on free education provided by the government primary school. This high school is located in the vicinity and is currently being renovated. At least on paper, it checks off the requirements of the Right to Education Act.
The RTE mandates that there should be a school within 1 kilometer of a child's habitation if it's a primary level, and within 3 kilometers if it is an upper primary level. As far as physical access is concerned, the government has done a much better job, and you do have schools physically available in almost all parts of the country, except some that might be geographically remote.
As per the government's own data, as well as third-party data from well-regarded NGOs like Pratham that conducts the annual State of Education surveys, today 97.2% of the country has a school building. The proportion of schools with boundary walls also increased marginally since the implementation of the RTE. And 66% of schools now have usable girls' toilets, which isn't the ideal scenario, but double of the number before RTE. But just better infrastructure does not ensure attendance, and it definitely does not ensure good learning outcomes. At least anecdotally, it does appear that this school in Thane district enjoys decent attendance. In fact, Maharashtra, along with Gujarat, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, enjoy 85% plus attendance as per NGO Pratham's annual State of Education Report 2018. States like Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Kerala see upward of 80% attendance. But UP, Bihar, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh don't even cross the 60% mark.
The larger problem in access is really that of social access, particularly for children of tribal backgrounds or Dalit backgrounds, or even girls very often. Oftentimes schools are located closer to upper caste habitations, and children who come from the lower caste part of the village may not be able to find it that easy to travel to those upper caste areas. There may be safety concerns on the way, but they also face often the various forms of discrimination within the school.
Children of seasonal migrant workers are another very vulnerable or at-risk community where children are, they drop out of schools because neither the receiving state nor the sending states have mechanisms in place to ensure that they can continue their education. there are other sort of big issues. For example, when on construction sites or close to construction sites, there aren't schools, so that children, when they are going to states with their parents, to work, they drop out of school.
A recent UNESCO report says that 10.7 million children in India live in rural households with at least one seasonal migrant. I visited a village in Thane district, about 100 kilometers away from Mumbai, where seasonal migration is common. The district authorities there use a migration card system to ensure children attend school in the new place their parents have migrated to.
100 kilometers from Mumbai, as we cross Shahpur in Thane district, we reach Pashtepada, a village that has a high population of scheduled tribes and migrant farmers. Uneducated themselves and living with an uncertainty of daily wages, education for children is not a priority for these parents.
The people you see working here are migrant workers. They spend a few months in a year working in paddy fields in Pashtepada and the rest of the year working in brick kilns in neighbouring blocks.
Seasonal migration cycle is the key challenge that district authorities in these regions have to tackle as they teach the first generation of schoolgoers. Vidya Bansode, a BCom student at KC College in Mumbai, was born to migrant parents in Bodhegaon in Beed district. Her early years of education were often disrupted owing to her family's migration to sugarcane fields outside the village. She says not much has changed even now.
क्योंकि अभी जो प्राइमरी स्कूल है वो अच्छी नहीं है, उधर का एजुकेशन भी अच्छा नहीं है. अभी भी माइग्रेंट्स है, वो बहुत सारे लोग ऐसा है कि वो हर साल माइग्रेंट्स करते रहते हैं. उनको माइग्रेंट्स करने के सिवाय कोई पर्याय भी नहीं, क्योंकि उनके पास खेती नहीं है.
What we can have is some sort of teacher moving with these migrant laborers, provided the government is willing to support or appoint such teachers who will be from the migrants' source state, so that these teachers are from the same language background as these migrant laborers.
Maharashtra is dealing with this challenge in a unique way. For instance, in Pashtepada, the Zilla Parishad keeps a tab of the villagers' movements through a cluster coordinator. Mahendra Dhimte is the middleman entrusted with the management of a cluster of 15 schools in Pashtepada and its children even after they migrate, and this data is collated at district level.
The children who migrate from one school to another, we give them a transfer certificate. Okay. They carry the transfer certificate and they get enrolled in that school where they are.
The transfer certificate is same as the migration card?
Same, it is a migration certificate.
Okay.
Yes, it is a temporary certificate. Okay. And after the migration period, when they come again to this village, they get enrolled in this school. So it is a coordination between two schools.
The Maharashtra government has identified 71,000 children who belong to migrant families. Apart from seasonal migration cards, in certain regions, the government is experimenting with running seasonal hostels and surveyors called Bal Rakshaks.
We spend about 62 crores every year to run seasonal hostels for them. So by seasonal hostels, we mean that they stay with someone in the village and the government pays for their stay, for their food, lodging and boarding. But now we are going to go the DBT way, in the sense that we are going to give a cash support to the family to ensure that the child stays in the village rather than migrating with the family. We have people identified as Bal Rakshaks, so their job is to survey the area and find out whether there are such school dropouts or other children of migratory parents, and then to ensure, and then you talk to the parents, counsel them.
But interestingly, at least in Pashtepada, what has worked in keeping children in school is just making the classroom more fun.
वर आता 20 आहेत
8 years ago, the school's job got a little easier with the establishment of the digital primary school, the first one in Maharashtra.
डिजिटलमुळे विद्यार्थ्यांनाच नव्हे तर शिक्षकांना सुद्धा येथे फायदा होत आहे या शाळेच्या माध्यमातून.
Power outage is a common problem in this rural area, and hence the school uses solar panels to operate its digital classrooms. Teachers say, despite the odds, digital classrooms have improved class attendance.
Very good.
Let's take a short commercial break here, but on the other side, we look at the daunting social challenges that our education system is faced with. Back in 2.